When we're talking about heel pain, we're talking about two kinds, one on the back of the heel and one on the bottom. Today we're going to be talking about that first kind, the kind that's on the back of your heel. This pain can be caused by poor fitting shoes, tightness in your ankle dorsiflexion because of a tight calf, weakness in your foot, and repetitive motion, particularly impact loading, like when you're running or jumping. One of my go-tos for treatment of this problem, I use this almost every time, especially in the early stages, is using kinesiology tape, like this KT tape that I have right here. So one of the things that I love about kinesiology taping is it allows us to model a better, stronger position of the foot, and it gives the foot a little support. Especially in the early stages, that can be so helpful. So I have some KT tape here. I'm working from home today, and I just wanted to show you how easy it is for you to use tape to give your heel a little support, offload those painful tissues, and start to get your foot feeling better almost immediately. It's super simple. Today I'm using the KT Tape Pro. It comes in pre-cut strips, and then this is one long uncut strip that I like so that I can really customize it. So let me show you how easy this is to do. First, we're gonna cut 3 equal length strips. Each strip is gonna be about 8 inches long. Here's a tip, when you have to cut multiple pieces all at the same length, you can fold them like I've done here, and then make your seam, and then just cut right along that seam as close to the edge as you can, and that'll separate those ends. And I'm just gonna cut right along that end. And so now I have my 3 roughly equal pieces. The thing I'm gonna do, this is another pro tip, is I'm gonna just round the edges of the tape by cutting the corners off like that. This helps prevent the tape from peeling as quickly. I will say that when you're taping your feet can be sweaty. There's also friction and shear on your skin from your socks and your shoes. So taping of the feet is always something that might be a little dodgy. It might be easy for that tape to come off. And so this is the part of the tape that we want to support right back here. This is where the Achilles tendon attaches to the calcaneus. And it's also the site of an important bursa that protects that tendon. It nourishes that tendon. And when this thing is irritated, that bursa can be pretty lit up. So for our first piece, we're just going to fold it in half like that. Take the tape, pinch it right on either side of that. And now the tape fabric is stretchy, but the paper is not. So if we just pull, you'll see that we can just pull that tape very easily to break it apart. So if you're new to working with tape, here's a suggestion. Get used to the feeling of stretchiness by folding back these 2 little tape paper panels to make a window, and then pinch it between your thumb and 4 fingers and pull it all the way apart to get a feel. This is 100% stretch. This is 0%, 100 and 0. Our first piece of tape we're going to apply with about 50% stretch, and we're going to do that in a position of ankle dorsiflexion. This first piece is going to cross the calcaneus, the bottom of the calcaneus, and it's going to lay alongside either side of this lower leg, this ankle, right behind these malleoli. Okay, so we're going to do 50% stretch. There's 100, there's 0, 100, 0. Let's go 50%. Ankle is in dorsiflexion. Wrap it around. And once you have it wrapped, get those 2 sides attached. And at this point, we're just going to lay that tape down the rest of the way without much stretch, just by pulling the rest of the paper off. So there's our first piece. Now for our second piece, we're going to fold it in the same way. Crease it right across the middle. Pinch it between your fingers and thumb, and pull to break the paper. Give it a little extra stretch, and that will release the edges of the paper, making them easier to grab. So this one, we're going to lay this one around the heel. This is like a heel counter would be the name for it in a shoe. It's the part that's just going to grip your heel. This one, if your bursa is really swollen, you may have to adjust the amount of tension that you put on this. We're going to start with that same 50% tension. This is going to lay right here around the heel, and then the tails are going to come this way up the foot. So here's our 50% stretch. Right there. Lay those ends down. Ankle is still in dorsiflexion. I still am pulling my toes up. And then I'm just going to lay that piece and then the other piece. If you don't get it exactly centered, that's fine. We've cut these pieces of tape long enough that it shouldn't be a big issue. Now for our last piece, we're going to wrap around the heel this way. So we're going to start on the sole of the foot and we're going to come up to the lower part of the Achilles tendon. So for this one, instead of breaking the tape in the middle, I'm going to break it on the end, and I'm going to start a little more than a finger's width from the top. So I'll just grab and pinch, tear, pull that off like so that I have an exposed tail of tape and a free edge that I can fold back. So this one, the placement of this one, we're going to be mid-arch for this one, just right in the middle of the foot, and align it first so you know kind of where it's going to run. So when you lay these tails down, don't put any stretch in them, just lay them down without tension. Rub them a bit to make sure they're sticking well. And now that you have your handle here, you can pull on that handle like that, make yourself something to hold on to. Use your opposite hand to anchor that piece. Pull your ankle up into dorsiflexion. Give this one 50% plus. We're going to go maybe closer to 60. Wrap that one around, and when you come to your bare skin right at the top there of your other pieces, start to dial that tension back, progressing down to paper tension only. Carefully flatten that out everywhere. And those are your three pieces. At this point, it's a good idea to develop a good bond with that adhesive, especially around all of these seams here, because these are the seams that could peel when you put your foot in a sock or in a shoe, especially this one down here on the sole. If you're new to taping, my suggestion is you wear it for a few hours. See how you do, see how effective it is, and then take it off. Best way to take it off is slowly, so you don't take skin, and when the tape is wet. So in a bath or in a shower, nice and slow. That's how you want to take it off. If you have any pain with tape, if your skin reacts to it for any reason, if your body says, hey, I just don't like this, take it off immediately. It's not worth having on if it doesn't feel at least neutral, if not really good. Taping is an easy strategy. It's handy. You can travel with it. It doesn't take up much room, it's not that expensive, and it can be incredibly effective for bringing down pain. For heel pain, of course, it is not the only thing you should be doing. If you want more treatment ideas to help get your heel feeling great again, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll leave more content, and any new content that I make on this topic, I will include a link in the description below. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you next time.